guys. What we're going to work on today are some geometry topics. And the biggest thing about geometry that you need to know is the vocabulary. So a lot of the terms we're going to use during this time are things that you should be familiar with, but we really have to think about the words and how they apply to different shapes that we know. So the first word that we need to think about is a polygon. A polygon is a shape that has 3 or more sides, that is a closed figure, and it's made of straight sides. So a lot of different things are polygons. Polygon could be a triangle. A polygon could be a rectangle. A polygon could be a rhombus or a longer parallelogram, okay? A polygon could be a kite. A polygon could be a square. A polygon is a closed shape with 3 or more sides and straight sides. Now, another thing that we might look at is a quadrilateral. And a quadrilateral has the prefix quad. Quadrilateral literally means 4 sides. So any shape that has 4 sides is a quadrilateral. So if we go back to this, a rectangle is a polygon, but it's also a quadrilateral. A square is a quadrilateral. A rhombus is a quadrilateral. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral. So is a kite. So is a trapezoid. Those are all quadrilaterals because they all have 4 sides. Now, whenever we get more specific, we might look at something, a parallelogram. And a parallelogram has the word parallel, and it means it has 2 pairs of parallel sides. So again, if we go back to these initial shapes, a square has 2 pairs of parallel sides. It is a parallelogram. This is called a parallelogram, so it's a parallelogram. So is a rhombus, 2 pairs of parallel sides. A rectangle is a parallelogram. A kite is not. It does not have 2 pairs of parallel sides, so it is not a parallelogram. A trapezoid is not a parallelogram. It only has 1 pair of parallel sides. So we've got polygons, we've got quadrilaterals, we've got parallelograms. Another thing then that we might look at are more specific shapes within each of those categories. So we said we have polygons. And typically, for our cases, we're going to look at 2 major categories of polygons. We're going to look at triangles, and we're going to look at quadrilaterals. Now, triangles, there are different types of triangles. We have 3 main types of triangles as categorized by their angles, what their angles look like. We have an acute triangle, an obtuse triangle, and a right triangle, okay? An acute triangle has 3 acute angles. Your typical triangle is an acute triangle, and I like to think of it as, oh, they are such a cute little angles, right? It's a cute little angle. An obtuse triangle looks a little different. It might open up really wide, and this angle is obtuse. Now, it could only have 1 obtuse angle, or else it couldn't come together to make a triangle. A right triangle could be twisted and turned different ways, but it has 1 right angle. So triangles can be categorized by their angles. Triangles can also be categorized by their sides. So there are 3 major ways to categorize triangles by their sides. We have an equilateral triangle, which means equal means equal, right? Equilateral means equal sides, okay? We have isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangles have 2 congruent sides. So they have 2 sides that are the same length. This side is different lengths. And then we have a scalene triangle. And a scalene triangle has, I like to call scalene, I like to remember that as silly, because all 3 sides are different. So again, we've got polygons, and when we go into polygons, we're going to split into, here are some triangles, and here are some quadrilaterals. Now, when we think about quadrilaterals all have 4 sides, right? But then there are different types of quadrilaterals. So you have your quadrilaterals, as we said before, that are parallelograms, P-A-R-A-L-L-E-L-O-G-R-A-M, parallelogram. How about right now, if you're watching this, you write the word parallel in the bottom right-hand corner of your page. So parallelograms are quadrilaterals that have 2 pairs of parallel sides. And then you have your other types that are not parallelograms, okay? So a parallelogram would include a rectangle, a square, it would include a parallelogram, and it would include a rhombus, okay? A rhombus is a parallelogram. It's kind of like a smushed square though. So a rhombus has 4 equal sides, okay, and has 2 pairs of parallel sides. Now over here we also have, we take our quadrilaterals, we split them out, and we have things that are not parallelograms. So a trapezoid is not a parallelogram. A kite is not a parallelogram, okay? And so we could split it out into those things that are not, right? So what you need to be able to do is know all of this vocabulary, know all of these different things about shapes, so that you can label shapes with all of the different names that they have. So this shape right here, really if we twist it like this, what is it? It's a square, but it's just kind of turned to be a little tricky on us. So what I can do is I can highlight or circle all of the things that this is. It's a square, we know that. A square is also a rectangle, because a rectangle just has 4 sides, it's quadrilateral, has 4 right angles, all 4 of those are right angles, but a rectangle can have 2 different side lengths. So a square is a rectangle, but it's more specific, okay? This also is a quadrilateral. It also is a parallelogram, okay? And it also is a rhombus, because the only requirements for a rhombus is that it's a parallelogram with 4 equal side lengths. So this is all of those things. The only thing it's not is a trapezoid. So then we might skip down and look at this. And this, if we think about it, and maybe if you twist it, sometimes you gotta twist them so they look the way you might be typically seeing them. This is a kite. Well, a kite has 4 sides. It does not have 2 pairs of parallel sides. It is not a trapezoid. Is this a rectangle? No way. It's not a square, and it's not a rhombus. So the only thing that is categorized as with these 6 traits is a quadrilateral, but we call this also a kite, okay? This has 4 sides. It has 2 pairs of parallel sides. It's not a rectangle because it doesn't have right angles. It's not a square. It's not a rhombus. Those sides are different. There are 2 different side lengths, and it's not a trapezoid. So what you need to be able to do is check out all of the different possibilities for each shape and really think about the vocabulary that you are using, okay? So we've got quadrilaterals. Within quadrilaterals, we have parallelograms and not parallelograms. We have polygons, and within polygons, we've got all kinds of stuff, but typically what we're going to do is split it into triangles and quadrilaterals. Triangles, we can categorize them by their angles, acute, obtuse, and right. We can also do it by their sides, equilateral, isosceles, and scalene. Hope you have refreshed or maybe learned a few new geometry terms. Thanks for watching.